In the city of Colombo and leading up to this general area, there are many billboards and hoardings. And there is one figure which we must have noticed, you can't escape. It's one of the most captivating smiles that I've ever noticed anywhere, anytime. So those captivating smiles come into the shape and form of one individual, and that's Saagarika Ghoshal, the first of our presenters. Her brand is a smile, and that's a very telling one. But quite apart from mere appearances, she has been a first-class professional and a recognized achiever in her own realm, in HR as well as within her own country. She has been serving the needs for the past 20 years or more, which means she began as an infant. Dynamic industries like airlines and telecom, companies like Jet Airways, RPG, and Bharti Airtel have benefited from her interventions. She is currently the Chief People Officer of India's largest entertainment conglomerate. And as I've mentioned, she has been recognized with several accolades. The HR Leadership Award of 2008 and Woman Super Achiever. Well, I'm a man, I best shut up and invite Saagarika Ghoshal and invite your attention as she speaks on organizational transformation.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry I'm not going to use the podium as much. I'm more comfortable talking like this. First of all, good morning all of you, and it has been a pleasure being here in Sri Lanka. Honestly, when I first met Mr. Chris almost a year ago, and he told me that next time you need to come to Sri Lanka, I always had question marks in my mind because I have been almost across the globe, whether it is US, UK, Europe, Germany, India, Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore, but I've never come to this country. And I was wondering that probably this is another country which I'll be going to. But since Mr. Lalit and Mr. Chris were so welcoming that I couldn't actually deny the invitation of reaching here. When I come here, everyone kept asking me, how do you like Sri Lanka? Although I haven't seen much of Sri Lanka other than Colombo Airport, Taj where I'm staying in, and on the way I have seen President's House residence almost 8 to 10 times because each driver kept mentioning that this is where he stays. But all said and done, I would like to mention one thing, that this is no different than India. This is the first place where I've come in an international conference and where it feels like I am at home. So I don't see much of a difference between Sri Lanka and India. And I really don't feel that I'm speaking in an international conference because I feel I'm at home, and that's the plus. But I should mention at this point of time that this conference is of rather much superior than a lot of international conferences I have attended across the globe. And for that, I need to thank each one of you. I think it has really crossed the international benchmarks. And for that, I think all of you need to give a big round of applause to the entire team of NIPM. Well, now to start our session, I think before I talk about the pivotal role of HR in organization transformation, I would like to go back to a very old Indian story. I'm sure it's a Sri Lankan story as well. How many of you have heard the old rabbit and turtle story? No one? You have? Well, we have all grown up with that story, that there was a race between a rabbit and a turtle. Turtle, of course, the slowest creature in this universe, and rabbit, the fastest, started the race, and all of us know who won. So the moral of the story was, slow and steady wins the race. Well, I'm sure this was the mantra in 80s, that era, that you don't need to be flamboyant, you don't need to be talking about it, you need to be slow, steady, and ensure that you win the race. Then came a different version, you know, the 90s version. I'm sure some of you are here from that generation, who talked about the same turtle and the rabbit race. So the turtle came back and said that rabbit, don't be so, you know, disheartened. Let's have another race. So the turtle said, the rabbit said that, no, you know, I'm not interested. Anyway, I'm going, last time I slept, so you won. So big deal, this time no race. You know, I'm the winner. So he said, okay, fair enough, let's do that. And since I am the last year's winner, I have the veto power to decide which path we go. So he said, whichever path you decide, you are a bloody turtle, you would only go up to this much, so fair enough. This time I won't sleep. So he prepared entire day for not sleeping, ensured that he had all those, you know, vitamins and stuffs which keeps him awake, and so on and so forth, and he was ready for the race. Well, he started the race, and they both started the race. Rabbit just galloped across the mountains, the hills, and whatever, and reached to a lake. The finishing line was before a lake. And he kept waiting. He was trying to arrange a boat, he was trying to arrange a whatever, he just couldn't get through because there was nothing in and around there. The turtle comes slow and steady, looks at the rabbit and starts swimming. And he crosses the finishing line. So again, what happens? Again, the turtle wins. This time, the moral of the story was, which was for all the management gurus across the world, saying that you need to know your path. You need to know where you are starting your game. You should know the rules of the game. You should know, you should charter your action plans. So you should know where you are going, how you can win the race. And second, you need to be agile, versatile, and of course, energetic. Well, the 20s came Generation Y or Generation Next or whatever we call it. And again, the turtle and the rabbit story still didn't end. Rabbit was, of course, unhappy. So this time he said, okay, you know what? Now I call you for a race and come over. So here is what, again, they start a race. Rabbit by now had decided that no matter what I do, because mentally he was sure that decades after decades I've been fighting this turtle, I'm not sure whether I'm going to win this race or not. So what is that what I need to do? So he checked on his last year's notes, last race's notes, and he figured out that you should know your, you know, where you are playing. So what is your game plan? What is your action planning? What is your strategy? So the moment he started to look at the strategy, he realized that the roads might be difficult, and probably I don't have the competence to swim. I don't have the skill to actually move in water. So what did he do? He called the turtle and he said, let's close this race. We will do this race together and win it together, so that I don't have the disheartened you know, life or death that I have never won a race from a rabbit,